All right, our first assignment. Each assignment for this class is a portfolio assignment that is worth up to 3 points. So you can see the rubric here. The other thing that's important to know is the only way you can get 0 points is not having anything turned in with your name into the course photo bucket by the deadline. And the deadline's on your course outline. Even if you turn in something that doesn't meet the requirements of the assignment, but you meet it by the deadline, you can then resubmit all the way until our last day of class with a better project. Because the whole idea with these portfolio projects, these assignments, is that you're always improving them and making them as strong as you can be as you're learning new skills. This first assignment is a compositing project, and that's why we were talking so much about copyright and using found images. What you have to do is make a believable landscape composition, but it's going to be a fantasy landscape. So what it means by believable is that all the elements you bring together feel like they fit together seamlessly. Believable doesn't mean it has to look photorealistic, though that's the easiest way to go because the most reference out there is photo reference. But it just needs to all feel like it's stylized in a similar way. The final resolution should be no fewer than 300 pixels per inch at 8 by 10 inches. I tend to work a little bit larger than that just in case you want to print larger. So we're going to make it more like 11 by 14 inches by 350 pixels per inch. We can in this lab print all the way up to 13 by 19 inches. So maybe we want it even that large. The fantasy landscape has to combine at least 5 different reference images. And fantasy is supposed to really kind of free you up to come up with something imaginative that you're interested in. You can see past student examples, but the key is you're going to be sourcing these images and putting them together using Photoshop, using some of the compositing techniques we've already used. So, first step is kind of knowing what you want to do and doing some image resources. So, let's see. Let's do a quick class survey. What would be a cool fantasy landscape demo for this semester? And when you think of fantasy, you're not only thinking of what kind of place, but you're also thinking what kind of time. Is it in the future? Is it in the past? So throw out some ideas. All right, so we have an idea for World War II airstrike.
But this
setting, yeah.
Surroundings being more futuristic.
Okay, so in the future, World War II in the future.
Just like the older planes though.
Well, the thing is, when we're doing a setting, we're not going to do what's called figurative content. So no like moving vehicles, no people, because those will come later. We can have ruins of things though, so we can have crashed machinery and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe we want a few different things. Maybe we want crashed machinery. This is something we're going to build a landscape from. So I can do an image search of that. And I always want to modify my search because we're actually going to be using these pixels and modifying them. This is kind of cool. I like that. So we're going to search for only things that are 10 megapixels or larger for this, which is quite a large size threshold. And it's going to change your search results quite a bit. But this is what I was hoping for some kind of wreckage of various sorts. And I'm not making any strong ideas yet. I'm just sourcing some images I think might be interesting. And so I'm right-clicking and opening them in new tabs. Because I think that wrecked machinery will be something I use. You can try different search terms, and it will still be, larger than 10 megapixels. And larger than 10 megapixels is huge. All right, and what was described was a scene with lots of airspace in it. Maybe we want to put vehicles or monsters in it, in the sky. So I like some of these images, these overhead images. I love the World War II ones, but black and white doesn't help us so much unless we wanted to be limited to black and white. And to me, that just isn't as exciting as doing it in color. All right, so I've got a bunch there. So now what I'm going to do is make a folder that I'm going to call Assignment 1. And I'm going to start saving my references to that folder, and you'll see why. So if I actually view this at full resolution, you'll see how large it is. But then you'll also see what the image quality is. And this image quality is sadly not that great. So that might not be a one I want to use. And that's why you want to check them at this full size. Now that image quality, that's quite nice. So I'm going to save that over. Close the others. And you can only view that image quality when you actually follow the link all the way. And that's why I open links in new tabs. So I can always go back to the search really easily. Now you're going to collect a lot more reference than you need. We need to use 5. But you'll see that you're going to collect a lot more reference because you might not end up actually using it all. Oh, I love that. It's flooded. Very nice. Very post-apocalyptic. Very global warming. All right. Now something else. So I have some wrecked machinery, but we're also thinking kind of military flyover. Let's see, city bombing, bombed out cities. And it can be an urban landscape. It can be natural. It can be the Ice Age. It can be the desert. It can be in space. But I want stuff from above. Let's see if that limits what I get. And I'm still larger than 10 megapixels. And I'm looking for stuff that can be modified. So I'm not that interested in close-ups of things. And I don't want figurative content, anything that would be moving. Because I can always add explosions and things later, or moving actual vehicles instead of ruins. And I definitely don't want people in the reference. Some of these overhead shots, these might work well. And now I want to think of what the actual natural landscape around this city would be. So let's see. I'll stick with, since we're talking about World War II, I'll stick to England and Germany. But I want something, yeah, more like this, something with nature around it. And maybe lots of sky. It's a nice open sky picture there. Now I'm not going for the ones that are really fancy in their color processing, because I get to do all of that. I get to decide what to use and what not to use. I don't want to have those decisions made for me. These are just creative tools. Now this is beautiful. Nice panorama, very large resolution. Something I could work with. Make that feel post-apocalyptic. Put some stuff in the foreground. Put some sky. Okay. So when I find these references and I verify that they're good quality, I move them over into my folder. And your idea can change depending on the reference you find. You might modify your search. Really nice. Now, we are not searching for public domain images, we're just searching for images that are large enough. And the idea is, so I'm mostly going to use this for sky, the idea is by compositing together 5 of them, at least 5 of them, this has watermarks on it, so I'm just going to not use that because it's a pain to deal with those. You see the reason people use them very clearly. But by using 5 different images at least together, I'm making my own creative work with its own composition. And you'll see how we kind of control that. Still waiting for that huge picture to load. Get some of these others. Because we don't want any one of these to be easily recognizable. Now there is a watermark I can work with. Where was it? That's easy to get rid of. Easy to composite over. Okay, now I don't have a ton of reference yet. Like I might look for craters and more building ruins. But I have enough to get started with sketching, at least for this demo. So I've put them all into a folder. What I now do with the folder, and this is going to be your homework for next class, is I want to be able to see them all. So I'm going to view them and arrange by name, just so all images fit. And there needs to be at least 5, if not more. And now with that, I can start putting together my idea. And you can do this just with your pencil, with your mechanical pencil in your sketchbook, but I'm going to do it digitally just so I can record it here. And so, looking at this on your computer, looking at all your reference, kind of organized in this way, you are going to create your fantasy landscape sketch. And they're actually going to be 2 sketches. So fantasy landscape sketches. I'm just going to do it basically on 8 by 10 inch piece of paper. So this is like a sketchbook page. And I'm just going to sketch really loosely and really fast. The trick is being able to see all my reference. These are called thumbnail drawings. The key to them, let's do it on a new layer. The key to my thumbnail drawings is that they are self-contained within a format that I've chosen. So what I need each of you to do is one that is landscape format. That means wider than it is tall. And one sketch that is portrait format, taller than it is wide. So I start by drawing those boxes. And now I'm going to try using my reference to combine these elements into things that I think will work. And so for one, I love this silhouette, this shape. Remember, basic shapes are incredibly powerful. So I'm going to call that rubble. And that's this reference right there. And you can make more notes if you need to, but because you drew it, you'll probably know. I want that in that foreground corner. And then I like this shipwreck here. And maybe I want that in the background about here. You don't need to draw very well. They're like puzzle pieces. And then I need kind of the street and land around it. So I'm going to call this one right here the street view. And it's going to run in this background here. So here is the street. Then I realize maybe this can come in at a corner. I'll call it a broken lump of something. It's a very man-made urban landscape so far. And now the sky, I want to augment the sky of the street view, maybe the clouds and the background of this. I'll call it hilly sky. So that will be this area.